This week on Americana Outdoors, we're on Kentucky Lake covering the Bass Pro Shop's Big Bass Bash, presented by Berkley. And later, we're heading over to South Texas for the 8th annual Bucks for the Brave event at Trinity Oaks. To kick things off, let's learn a thing or two about the Bass Pro Shop's Big Bass Bash. This nationally televised college tournament is a 2-day big bass format with nearly 600 of college fishing's top anglers competing for more than $30,000 in prizes and contingencies. This tournament will also count as double points toward the Bass Pro Shop's School of the Year, presented by Abu Garcia.
Out here at Kentucky Lake, it's the first stop of the ACA Collegiate Bass Fishing Trail. Looking to catch some big ones today. Kentucky Lake's been fishing pretty tough, but these guys always catch a big one, and we're just going to see if we can get a piece of the pie. It's a little bit different than what we're used to. Fishing these tournaments like this, we're not looking to find the biggest 5 bites we can get. We're trying to find spots that, you know, we may only get 1 or 2 bites, but they're going to be real big.
For day 1 of the competition, we have 4 weigh-in sessions, with each session being presented by a different sponsor and payouts to the top 10 finishers in each session. Here's a recap of what we've seen coming to the scales so far. Austin Thomas of the University of North Alabama dominated Session 1 with a 4.43-pound bass. In Session 2, Kyle Knoll of Auburn University claimed the top prize after weighing in a 4.62-pound bass. And rounding out the 3rd session, Dylan Nutt from the University of North Alabama edged out the competition with a 5.50-pound bass. We've seen some fierce competition going into Session 4, presented by Garmin. Let's tune in and see how the last session of the day plays out.
Just found a couple. Sitting on this drop here, there's a little stump. Hopefully get a little bit nicer ones here soon. So what's good about this format is it doesn't matter how many fish you catch, or even if you catch more than 1 keeper, or 1 cast away from winning this whole thing. That really keeps you in the right mindset.
I'm throwing a Berkley power worm, actually, a 10-inch power worm and green pumpkin with a 1/2 ounce weight, just on a Texas rig unpegged, and we're dragging it in there and just taking our time. I think he's little, but he's not bad. That's a smallie. Oh, come here, buddy. Shoo.
A smallmouth on the 10-inch worm.
Yeah. On the 10-inch worm.
With that last catch, let's head back to the scales for the final weigh-in on day 1. Rounding out the top 3, Dylan May brought a 5.30-pounder to the scales. And in second place, we have Braden Korber with 5.80 pounds. Harlan Thomas dominated Session 4 with 6.31 pounds, netting him first place in the overall tournament, a $1,500 Garmin credit, and a $200 gift card to Bass Pro Shops.
All right, we got us another big one on the last cast. It went 6:31 and we're back in the lead. It's been a tough day, but I managed to get 2 big bites. I'm only fishing for the big ones, and we're just gonna hopefully be able to carry on tomorrow and keep doing that. The big ones are biting this week. I think there's been more 5+ pound fish weighed in this tournament than the past big bass bashes throughout the years. So it's definitely a better year. Kentucky Lake showing out, and it's hard to say if mine will hold out. I just can only keep my fingers crossed and hope it does.
Here's a look at the top 10 standings from day 1 of the Bass Pro Shop's Big Bass Bash, presented by Berkley. Welcome to day 2 coverage of the Bass Pro Shop's Big Bass Bash, presented by Berkley. Before we hit the water, let's learn about the format for the weigh-ins. There will be a total of 3 sessions, with the first closing at 9:30 a.m. and the final session closing at 1:30 p.m. Each of the first 2 sessions will pay out the top 10, and the final session of the day will award 20 prizes. During day 2 of competition, anglers are also only allowed to use Berkley products. This includes hard baits, top waters, soft plastics, and more. The Berkley line of baits is comprised of offerings ideal for fall fishing, like the Berkley Chopo, Cane Walker, Square Bull Crankbait, the General, and the Powerbait Max Scent Creature Hog, all of which have the potential to produce the winning bite out on Kentucky Lake.
We got a couple different Berkley baits tied on this morning. We started off with the Chapo and the cane walker and docks. Yesterday we caught them on a bunch of jigs, but luckily Berkley's got a ton of baits to offer that we can throw on the back of these jigs.
Day 2 is well underway, and by the end of session 1, Carter Nutt from the University of North Alabama was sitting at the top with 4.94 pounds, with Trip Bowman from LSU Shreveport in second with 4.91 pounds. In session 2, Tristan Friesner from SIU Edwardsville claimed first place with 5.19 pounds. And Brant Rowland from Drury University had second place with 4.91 pounds. Now, we're on the water for the third and final session of the Bass Pro Shops Big Bass Bash, presented by Berkley.
Big. Oh, shoot. Big smallie. Net is stuck. Well, there's the keeper. There's a 2.5, maybe 3 pounder. Just throwing a jig with a Berkley Max Scent Chigger Crawl, green pumpkin, green flake. Fishing around bait eaters and just got one, probably 2.5, 3 pounds. It's a good one. After weighing in 2 big ones yesterday, it feels good to catch one to hopefully maybe knock some people down on the list and, you know, get our team some good points, and it feels good to finally get a good one in the boat.
We're jumping over to current overall tournament leader Harlan Thomas's boat, where he's utilizing Garmin Live Scope to help find those big bites.
I'm using this Garmin Live Scope today to help find and locate brush piles, and you know, that's a really important part to catching these big fish this week, because when that sun gets high and it gets calm, those fish like to get up inside of those brush piles because there's a lot of shade in them and a lot of other fish that they can feed on and stuff that hang around them. So I've just been looking for bigger fish and casting at them. You can cast at 100, most of them won't bite, so the Live Scope definitely helped for me to cover a lot of those fish and hopefully get one of those big fish to bite by the end of the day.
Let's head back to the scales for the final weigh-in and see if Garmin Live Scope helped Harlan seal the deal here at the Big Bass Bash. Rounding out third place, Henry Vincent weighed in 5.11 pounds, with Jacob Deal sitting in second place with 5.73 pounds. Hunter Odom of the University of Montevallo finished in first place for session 3 with 5.82 pounds. But it was Harlan Thomas who won the overall Big Bass Bash with that whopping 6.31 pounder on day 1, earning him just over $5,100 in prizes and contingencies. Congrats, Harlan.
We got it done today in the Big Bass Bash. You know, we finished first place at about 600 guys, and this is probably the biggest tournament I've won. I've won a few, but not a big college tournament. This is definitely my first one, and it means a lot. Today I used the General, and that was my biggest player. Today I caught more fish than both the days combined.
Here's a look at the rest of the overall top 10 standings. That's a wrap on our coverage of the Bass Pro Shops Big Bass Bash, presented by Berkley.